Welcome to Public Account, where real-life nightmares come alive. Prepare to be haunted by chilling tales of the unknown, drawn from actual events. Lights off, volume up, and remember, these horrors are closer than you think. Subscribe, if you dare.
Tragedy strikes Hollywood, the Rebecca Schaefer stalking and murder, July 18, 1989. Introduction. In the annals of Hollywood history, the Rebecca Schaefer stalking and murder case remains a chilling reminder of the darker aspects of fame and obsession. Rebecca Schaefer, a rising star in the entertainment industry, fell victim to the harrowing consequences of an obsessed fan's fixation. Robert John Bardot's relentless stalking campaign ultimately led to a horrifying tragedy that shocked the world on July 18, 1989. The rising star, Rebecca Schaefer. Rebecca Lucille Schaefer was born on November 6, 1967, in Eugene, Oregon. With her natural charm, undeniable talent, and striking beauty, she quickly captured the attention of Hollywood casting directors. Her career began with modeling and television commercials before she landed the role of Patricia Patty Russell in the CBS sitcom My Sister Sam. The show's success provided her with the platform she needed to launch a promising acting career. The obsession, Robert John Bardot. On the other side of this tragic story was Robert John Bardot, a troubled individual who developed an unhealthy fixation on Rebecca Schaefer. Bardot had a history of mental health issues and criminal behavior, including a prior stalking incident involving singer Tiffany Darwish. His obsession with Schaefer led him to learn more about her personal life and gather information that would ultimately lead him to her doorstep. The stalking begins. Bardot's obsession with Schaefer escalated to alarming levels as he conducted extensive research to learn about her daily life. He discovered her home address through public records, a shocking breach of privacy that highlighted the vulnerability of celebrities to determine stalkers. Armed with this information, Bardot embarked on a cross-country journey from his hometown of Tucson, Arizona, to Los Angeles, California. The fateful confrontation. On the morning of July 18, 1989, Bardot arrived at Rebecca Schaefer's apartment building in Los Angeles. He used the intercom system to gain access to the building, claiming to be a representative from a well-known fan club. Deceived by his ruse, the building's concierge allowed Bardot to enter. Unbeknownst to Schaefer, her life was about to change forever. Bardot knocked on Schaefer's door, and when she answered, he confronted her with a delusional mixture of admiration and anger. It's believed that Bardot intended to declare his love for her, but as the encounter took a chilling turn, Schaefer grew increasingly uncomfortable and demanded that he leave. Tragically, Bardot pulled out a gun and shot her in cold blood. The aftermath and legal proceedings. Rebecca Schaefer was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were too severe, and she succumbed to her wounds. The news of her untimely death reverberated throughout the entertainment industry and beyond, sparking conversations about the price of fame, the dangers of obsession, and the need for improved privacy protections for public figures. Robert John Bardot attempted to flee the scene but was apprehended by the police shortly afterward. He was subsequently arrested and charged with murder. During the trial, Bardot's mental health issues and his history of stalking came to light, painting a disturbing portrait of a man consumed by fixation. In 1991, Bardot was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Legacy and impact. Rebecca Schaefer's tragic murder had a profound impact on both the entertainment industry and the legal landscape. Her death spurred discussions about the need for stricter privacy laws to safeguard celebrities from stalkers and other malicious actors. In 1990, the Driver's Privacy Protection Act was enacted in the United States, restricting access to personal information through motor vehicle records. Schaefer's friends and family, devastated by her loss, also channeled their grief into positive action. Her father, Dr. Benson Schaefer, became an advocate for victims of crime and worked to promote awareness about stalking, eventually founding the non-profit organization Duty to Warn. Conclusion. The Rebecca Schaefer stalking and murder case stands as a tragic chapter in Hollywood's history, one that exposed the dangers of unchecked obsession and the disturbing ease with which individuals can access private information in the digital age. Rebecca's promising career and vibrant life were cut short by the actions of a disturbed fan whose fixation spiraled into a horrifying act of violence. Her legacy lives on through the conversations sparked by her untimely death, reminding us all of the importance of vigilance against stalking and the need to protect the vulnerable, even as they shine brightly in the public eye. The Teresa Sultana stalking attack, triumph over tragedy, March 15, 1982. Introduction. On March 15, 1982, the entertainment industry was rocked by a horrifying incident that exposed the dark side of fame and celebrity. Actress Teresa Sultana, known for her roles in movies like Raging Bull and I Wanna Hold Your Hand, became the victim of a relentless stalker's sinister obsession. Arthur Richard Jackson's fixation on Sultana culminated in a brutal attack that forever changed her life and highlighted the urgent need for stronger measures to protect public figures from such threats. The obsession takes hold. The tale of Teresa Sultana's stalking began innocently enough when Arthur Richard Jackson saw her in a film and became captivated by her on-screen presence. As time passed, Jackson's fascination developed into an all-consuming obsession that led him to believe he had a personal connection with the actress. Blurring the lines between reality and fiction, Jackson embarked on a disturbing journey to seek out the object of his infatuation. The disturbing pursuit. Jackson's relentless pursuit of Teresa Sultana took him across the United States as he doggedly collected personal information about her. His determination to locate her led him to hire a private investigator who managed to uncover Sultana's home address. Armed with this information, Jackson traveled to Los Angeles with a chilling mission in mind. The fateful day, March 15, 1982, marked a day that would forever be etched in Teresa Sultana's memory. As the actress returned home from a morning workout, Jackson emerged from the shadows, armed with a knife. Without warning, he attacked Sultana, stabbing her multiple times in a shocking act of violence. Despite the ferocity of the assault, Sultana's will to survive proved stronger. A fight for survival. Sultana's screams for help attracted the attention of a neighbor who rushed to her aid. Jackson fled the scene, leaving behind a wounded and traumatized actress. Thanks to the quick response of the neighbor and emergency medical personnel, Sultana received immediate medical attention that ultimately saved her life. However, the attack left her with severe physical injuries and deep emotional scars that would take years to heal. Legal proceedings and advocacy. Following the attack, Arthur Richard Jackson was swiftly apprehended by law enforcement. He was charged with attempted murder and various other offenses related to the stalking and assault. The subsequent trial brought the issue of celebrity stalking to the forefront of public consciousness. Sultana's resilience and willingness to testify against her attacker played a crucial role in securing a conviction, sending a message that stalking would not be tolerated. Legacy and impact. The Teresa Sultana stalking attack had a profound impact on the perception of celebrity and personal security. The incident catalyzed discussions about the need for stricter anti-stalking laws and improved protection measures for public figures. Sultana's story shed light on the vulnerability of individuals in the public eye and underscored the importance of taking threats seriously. Sultana's courageous journey. Teresa Sultana's journey toward recovery was nothing short of inspiring. Despite enduring physical and emotional trauma, she emerged as an advocate for stalking victims and a beacon of hope for those who had experienced similar horrors. Sultana's unwavering spirit allowed her to rebuild her life and continue her acting career, proving that resilience can triumph over adversity. Conclusion. The Teresa Sultana stalking attack serves as a chilling reminder of the potential dangers that come with fame and the lengths to which some individuals may go to pursue their obsessions. This tragic event sparked important conversations about the need for legal reforms and heightened security measures to protect individuals in the public eye. Teresa Sultana's courage in the face of adversity and her determination to turn her experience into a force for positive change stand as a testament to the human spirit's capacity to overcome even the darkest of challenges. Tragedy unveiled. The Laura Black stalking and murder, November 13, 1995. Introduction. November 13, 1995, marked a day of profound sorrow and horror in the city of Reno, Nevada, as the chilling story of Laura Black's stalking and murder unfolded. A young woman's life was cut short by the sinister actions of Richard Farley, a former co-worker whose infatuation had devolved into a meticulously planned attack. The tragedy not only shook the community but also shed light on the critical importance of recognizing and addressing signs of obsession and danger. The background: Laura Black, a promising young woman, worked alongside her colleagues in an office in Reno, Nevada. Unbeknownst to her, Richard Farley, a former colleague, harbored deep feelings of infatuation that would ultimately lead to her untimely demise. Farley's obsession with Laura had grown over time, fueled by his own distorted perceptions and fantasies. The stalking. Farley's descent into obsession pushed him into the dark world of stalking. He began to meticulously track Laura's movements, gathering information about her routines and personal life. This disturbing behavior escalated as he surreptitiously followed her, invaded her privacy, and even made unwelcome advances that left Laura deeply uncomfortable and fearful. Despite her unease, Laura's concerns were not escalated to the extent they should have been, which tragically allowed the situation to escalate further. The meticulous planning. As his infatuation twisted into obsession, Farley began meticulously planning an attack that would forever alter the lives of those involved. He fixated on the office space they had both inhabited, transforming it into a scene of horror. Farley's planning involved intricate details, from choosing the right moment to strike to selecting the tools that would facilitate his grisly act. The tragic day unfolds. November 13, 1995, was the fateful day when Farley's obsession culminated in a heinous act. Armed and fueled by a dangerous mix of emotions, he entered the office with a single-minded intent. As the unsuspecting Laura Black went about her day, she was confronted by Farley's unrelenting violence. The attack was swift and brutal, leaving the office space stained with tragedy. The immediate aftermath was a scene of chaos, as co-workers grappled with shock and disbelief at the gruesome turn of events. Community shock and response. The news of Laura Black's stalking and murder sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Reno. The senseless loss of a young life and the realization that such horrors could occur in their own backyard left residents reeling. Vigils were held to honor Laura's memory, and calls for awareness about the dangers of obsession, stalking, and domestic violence resonated strongly. The legal proceedings. In the aftermath of the tragedy, Richard Farley was apprehended by law enforcement. The meticulous planning he had put into the attack did not save him from facing the consequences of his actions. The legal proceedings that followed shed further light on the extent of his obsession and the calculated nature of the crime. The trial served as a somber reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked infatuation and the vital importance of recognizing warning signs. Legacy and lessons. The Laura Black stalking and murder case serves as a tragic reminder of the lengths to which unchecked obsession can lead. The devastating loss of a young life highlighted the urgency of recognizing and addressing signs of danger. Community discussions about stalking, domestic violence, and mental health gained momentum, as individuals and organizations work to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Conclusion. November 13, 1995, will forever remain a date marked by tragedy in the history of Reno, Nevada. Laura Black's life was tragically cut short by the disturbing infatuation of Richard Farley, a former co-worker whose obsession escalated to a horrific crime. As the community mourned, they also rallied together to raise awareness about the dangers of stalking and the importance of recognizing signs of obsession and violence. The legacy of Laura Black serves as a solemn reminder that society must remain vigilant in addressing and preventing such senseless acts of violence from occurring again. Tragedy strikes. The Diane Gregg stalking and murder case, August 25, 1989. Introduction. The chilling events that unfolded on August 25, 1989, would forever change the way society perceives stalking and the urgency for stronger legislation against this heinous crime. The tragic tale of Diane Gregg, a young woman whose life was cut short by the actions of David Richard Davis, serves as a somber reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession and the critical need for comprehensive laws to combat such behavior. The unfolding obsession. Diane Gregg, a 28-year-old woman, lived a quiet and content life in a suburban neighborhood. A talented artist and a caring friend, Diane was beloved by those who knew her. David Richard Davis, on the other hand, was a troubled individual whose fixation on Diane would lead to a series of sinister events. David's obsession with Diane began innocently enough, with casual interactions at local gatherings. However, as time passed, his infatuation grew into an unhealthy obsession, marked by invasive actions such as constant phone calls, sending unsolicited gifts, and following her around town. These actions caused Diane considerable distress and fear, prompting her to seek assistance from law enforcement. The fear intensifies. Despite Diane's efforts to protect herself, David's obsession escalated. He resorted to lurking around her home, sending threatening messages, and even vandalizing her property. Diane's life was engulfed in fear, as her every move was monitored by a man consumed by his dark desires. Friends and family urged her to take legal action, and she sought restraining orders against David, but the existing laws had limited scope in addressing this new and growing problem. The break-in and tragedy. On the fateful night of August 25, 1989, David Richard Davis's obsession reached its horrifying peak. Armed with a determination to possess Diane at any cost, he broke into her home. The invasion of her sanctuary was an unspeakable violation, a stark reminder of the dangers that stalking posed. David's actions that night were not only criminal but also deeply perverse, as he subjected Diane to a sexual assault that added another layer of horror to her already traumatic experience. In a desperate bid to escape her tormentor, Diane fought back with every ounce of strength she could muster. Tragically, her struggle for survival ended in her untimely death at the hands of the very person who had relentlessly pursued her. The shockwaves of her murder reverberated through the community, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. The aftermath and call for change. Diane Gregg's brutal murder highlighted the pressing need for comprehensive legislation against stalking. The case exposed the inadequacies of existing laws in addressing the evolving nature of this crime and protecting potential victims. Advocates, friends, and family of Diane came together to champion a new legal framework that would criminalize stalking in all its forms, offering victims the legal recourse and protection they so desperately needed. The Diane Gregg Stalking Prevention Act. In the wake of this tragic event, lawmakers responded to the call for change. The Diane Gregg Stalking Prevention Act, enacted in the years following her murder, represented a significant step forward in addressing the dangers of stalking. The Act defined stalking in a broader context, encompassing a range of behaviors from unwanted communication to physical intrusion. It established clear legal consequences for such actions and facilitated the issuance of restraining orders with more teeth to ensure the safety of victims. Furthermore, the Act emphasized the importance of educating law enforcement and the public about stalking, its warning signs, and the available legal remedies. It created a comprehensive support network for victims, offering counseling, legal aid, and resources to rebuild their lives after the trauma they endured. Conclusion. The tragic stalking and murder of Diane Gregg by David Richard Davis on August 25, 1989, remains a heart-wrenching tale that underscores the devastating consequences of unchecked obsession. Diane's life was cut short by a man consumed by his sinister desires, shining a harsh light on the inadequacies of existing laws in addressing the evolving nature of stalking. However, out of this tragedy emerged a call for change, culminating in the enactment of the Diane Gregg Stalking Prevention Act, a crucial legislative step toward curbing the horrors of stalking and ensuring that victims are protected and empowered. Diane's legacy lives on through the lessons learned from her heartbreaking ordeal, reminding society of the urgent need for vigilance against such predatory behavior and the necessity of comprehensive legal measures to combat it. The complex tale of Eileen Wuornos, trauma, stalking, and murder, August 25, 1989. Introduction. The case of Eileen Wuornos is a haunting chapter in the annals of criminal history, shedding light on the intricate interplay between trauma, self-defense, and the descent into serial killing. Wuornos, a woman who killed several men and claimed self-defense, can be viewed through the lens of the stalking and harassment she endured throughout her life, culminating in the tragic event that occurred on August 25, 1989. This account delves into the details of that fateful day, exploring the complex motivations and psychological factors that contributed to Warno's actions. Background and early life. Eileen Warnos was born on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan. Her early life was marred by instability and turmoil. Her father was absent, and her mother abandoned her and her brother when they were young. This abandonment left deep emotional scars on Warnos, setting the stage for a life filled with struggles and challenges. She was forced into the foster care system, where she experienced abuse and neglect, further intensifying her psychological trauma. Entering adulthood. As Warnos transitioned into adulthood, her life continued on a tumultuous trajectory. She engaged in survival sex work and faced immense financial and emotional hardships. It was during this period that she met Teresa, a woman who would become both her lover and accomplice. Warno's relationships with men were often characterized by violence, exploitation, and abuse, which seemed to reinforce her perception of the world as a hostile and threatening place. The murders and claims of self-defense. Between 1989 and 1990, Warnos was involved in a series of killings that shocked the nation. She targeted men, claiming that she acted in self-defense during attempted sexual assaults. While the veracity of these claims remains a point of debate, it is essential to consider the trauma she had experienced throughout her life. Her past history of abuse and victimization likely played a significant role in her perception of danger, influencing her actions and contributing to her justifications. The Diane Gregg stalking and murder, August 25, 1989. The event that took place on August 25, 1989, marked a turning point in Warno's killing spree. Diane Gregg, a 47-year-old businessman, was the unfortunate victim on that day. Warnos claimed that she shot Gregg in self-defense, asserting that he had sexually assaulted her and posed a threat to her life. While her actions were violent and irreversible, the lens of trauma offers insight into her state of mind. Warno's history of abuse and victimization likely influenced her perception of the encounter, potentially distorting her assessment of danger. Legal proceedings and controversies. Warno's claims of self-defense were tested in court, where she faced a legal battle that captivated the nation. Her troubled past, including her experiences of stalking and harassment, came to the forefront during the trial. It became evident that Warnos had encountered a series of predatory men throughout her life, which undoubtedly shaped her perceptions and reactions in dangerous situations. However, the legal system also had the responsibility of addressing the heinous nature of the crimes committed. Psychological analysis and societal implications. The case of Eileen Warnos raises complex questions about the intersection of trauma, self-defense, and criminal behavior. Psychologically, her experiences of abandonment, abuse, and exploitation led to the development of deeply ingrained defense mechanisms and heightened vigilance. These psychological responses may have driven her to resort to violence as a means of survival, further blurring the lines between self-defense and criminal intent. Furthermore, the case highlights the pervasive issue of stalking and harassment, which often goes unaddressed. Warno's encounters with predatory individuals mirror the experiences of countless individuals who fall victim to stalking. This aspect of her story underscores the need for greater awareness, prevention, and support systems to protect potential victims and address the underlying issues that can lead to tragic outcomes. Conclusion. The case of Eileen Warnos and the events that unfolded on August 25, 1989, are a stark reminder of the complexity of human behavior and the profound impact of trauma. Warno's trajectory from victim to perpetrator forces us to examine the interconnectedness of experiences and emotions that can lead to a cascade of actions with irreversible consequences. By delving into her life story, we gain insight into the dark corners of the human psyche and the societal failures that allow cycles of abuse and violence to persist.